Good morning. Simone, thank you for your work, for your knowledge, for your intelligence, for your vision, and for your love. Thank you, Rashida, Sadia, Tina, Nomaduma, thank you for the beautiful words as well. Today, I want to share with you the making of my last piece, the boat. I will speak kind of freely. I will show you images and videos. I just want to take you into the journey of making an artwork. I often see my work as a book, and each artwork as a chapter. And each chapter leads me to the next. So the boat started during the making of a previous chapter, a performance and video work on Antigona. Antigona is a story about a woman whose two brothers died. They kill each other for power. King Creon, the ruler, however, has proclaimed that one brother should be buried with a ceremony, while the other, for opposing his governance and politics, should be left on the road as food for dogs and birds. The king has proclaimed that anyone who tries to bury his body will face death. The story raised fundamental questions for me around death and life, ceremony and ritual, mourning, memory, and forgetting. Whose bodies can be mourned and buried properly? Whose bodies can be named, remembered, or even celebrated in a public space? Whose bodies are human enough to be remembered and to have a place of rest? In this myth, King Creon did not allow the brother to be buried because he wanted him to be forgotten. When ritual and ceremony are forbidden, not only history can be forgotten, but above all, memory cannot be produced. Antigona, however, has decided to bury a brother, to remember him in a place and a time. So, for the boat, I wanted to continue working on these questions, but in the realm of the public space. Nicola, maybe I need your help to continue. Thank you. I meticulously studied public monuments and sculptures surrounding us in Europe in Lisbon, in Berlin, in Brussels, in Madrid and Paris. The monuments obsessively narrate the colonial history as a moment of glory and of adventure, with an infantile fantasy and language about discoveries, as if a continent with millions of people could be discovered. The boat was used always as a symbol. And I asked myself, what were these boats represented in these monuments were carrying in their bottom, inside their belly? And how can one of the longest and most outrageous episodes of human history, the transatlantic slave trade, be erased and forgotten in public spaces? And how is this erasure or the forgetting of the past related to repetition and cyclical violence in the present? What stories are told in public spaces? How are they told? Told by whom? And where not? I started drawing a piece with 32 meters long, composed by 146 pieces of burned wood, which became metaphorical tombs for the millions of Africans enslaved and displaced and displayed at the bottoms of the boat. I wanted to create a place of grief, a choreography of contemplation, a performative ritual, a place to remember, to mourn, to name who have not been named at all in a public space. We started by burning the pieces of wood. This was a very emotional process because the wood only reveals its skin once burned. And indeed, it is a unique skin. I remember when we did this process, we had to dig 2 big holes on the soil, one for fire and one for water. It is a performative process. You place the wood first in fire, then in the water. And once it is burned, it starts revealing a unique identity. It reveals skin, scars, and wounds. So it was the perfect surface to tell the story. With a black surface was also ideal for me to engrave the poem. I started then the second phase by writing a poem. The poem is composed by 18 verses. And once it was written, in several communities, I started searching for translators. The poem was translated in several languages, and in the pieces was engraved in 5 languages. First, Yoruba, second, in Kimbundu, third, in Creole from Cabo Verde, Portuguese, English, and Arabic from Syria. These were the languages from the past, but above all, the very same languages that are spoken today in the boats, not of the transatlantic slave trade, but passing the Mediterranean and many other seas. The repetition again. I arrived 3 days ago from London, where we just finished installing this piece at the Somerset House. It is a very meaningful stage, I would say, to receive, to occupy, and to interrupt the Royal Courtyard in London with a 32 meters long boat. The poem is at the very heart of the boat, so it invites the audience to enter the boat as a labyrinth and to bow to these metaphorical bodies or tombs and to read. I wanted to work with what I was informed by black feminist or black radical feminism. I wanted to work with materials that are not eternal and forms that are not phallic, like most of the sculptures in public spaces. From far, you actually do not see the sculpture or the installation. You have to enter. You have to move into it. It smells once you enter the courtyard of burned wood, and you have to read it. You have to bow, you have to pay respect. I wanted to create this contemplation, this choreography of contemplation. I must say that after some tragic episodes that we always encounter in our journeys, Simone was the most loving person who called me immediately and said, "Come and bring the boat to Venice to open the exhibition." We tried everything, but of course the logistics did not allow it at all. So I'm happy we are here showing the boat digitally. After the boat installed and done, the installation as a sculpture and a poem, I started working with Kalaf Epalanga, who is a musician and a writer. And from the poem, we started composing sounds and human voices for the performance while I was designing the performance. It was very important for me where the work was first shown in Lisbon, at Boca, at the Biennale of Lisbon. I wanted to bring this piece into close to the water in the city where I was born and grew up. And I wanted to invite a community of performers to activate and to make this piece alive in Portugal. So I started doing the storyboard for the performance. We started working in the music around the poem. And I started rehearsing with an ensemble of 20 opera voices, from contraltos to tenor, all from the different African diasporas in the periphery of Lisbon, where I grew up, with ballet dancers and with percussionists. They are an ensemble of around 30 people. We performed in Lisbon, and next week I invite you all, those who can fly to London. We will present on the 13th and 14th the performance in London. I finish with a very short trailer, some images put together that show a little bit of the work and of the movements, the choreography, the installation, and the poetry. Thank you. Thank you so much.